Hello everybody and welcome back to another Figurehead Reviews video, and today we are taking a look at the Marvel Legends Monster Venom Build-A-Figure Wave Carnage from the Venom line. Here we have the Venom name down there, but then we have Carnage's name. Of course we have Carnage in the front window box. We get the Venom logo at the top. We get some very cool artwork of Carnage on both sides. We get a product shot as well as a view of the alternate head. And down here we have all the other figures needed in this wave to complete the Monster Venom Build-A-Figure. And at the top we do have the read-up. Merged with the toxic Venom Symbiote, Cletus Kasady hones his psychopathic tendencies as the merciless villain Carnage. And at the bottom we have the UPC code, so you can check with your local retailer to see if they have this in stock. But enough about that, let's take a look at Carnage. And here is Carnage out of the packaging, wielding his axe hand and his elongated finger hand there. And, I already have the other Carnage figure. I forget which wave that was. I think it might have been the Hobgoblin wave. I already got that Carnage, and, it was a cool addition. But, man, the accessories that you get with him definitely get him in a position to be a much more, just a much better figure to pose with, especially when doing some of the action poses. The fact that you get this axe hand is just awesome, and to me it's a throwback to that old Toy Biz figure from back in the day. And the unmasked head too with Cletus Kasady is just great to get. So with that being said, let's go ahead and take a look real fast at the alternative hands. We'll get a better look at the Cletus Kasady head when we do our up close look at the full body mold. So as mentioned, we are going to look at the Cletus Kasady head when we actually do our closer look at the figure. So that just leaves us with the Build-A-Figure piece, which is not listed here. We'll of course look at that with the Monster Venom, and then these alternative hands. So the first two sets of hands we've seen before. They are just the Carnage, spiky fingered hands, and yeah, nothing new there. So we've seen those. The new hands that we get, however, so we get first this elongated fingers, which I think is really cool. Definitely a great set for some of those poses where he's, jumping out or going towards somebody. And you even get the little tendrils there on the back there of the hand, so that is cool. But then the piece that I think everybody was stoked about is this axe hand. And that is awesome. If you look at it, especially from this side, we can see that there's just a fist under there, and that we have the tendrils shooting out and forming the blade, and we even get some of the tendrils there, and you get sort of this incomplete look. One thing of note, it does hinge up and down, so this way, as opposed to the normal fists that have a hinge that would go that way. So you get an up and down hinge right there, as you can see, versus the other one. The only thing that I really wish we would have gotten on this hand is maybe some of that black effect that we've seen throughout the rest of the figure. Something maybe along the edge of the blade. And yeah, it just would have added a little bit more detail to it. But either way, it's still a really cool accessory to get. So, but let's go ahead and get a look at that Cletus Kasady head sculpt, and then we'll get a fuller look at Carnage himself. And here we are up close, and let me tell you, this is an awesome Cletus Kasady head sculpt. This is definitely the sculpt that I would have wanted, had I not known what it was going to be, because you could have the calm look, you could have a screaming look, but I want the homicidal lunatic grinning look, and they nailed it. Big grin, ear to ear, the just crazy looking eyes. They might actually be slightly off painted, a little off center, or maybe that's just meant to emphasize some of the craziness. But the curls and the hair came out looking good, and yeah, they just did a great job on this head sculpt. He looks like a psycho. And of course you can pop on the Carnage head sculpt. All you have to do is pop off Cletus, and there we go. And you pop on Carnage. And looking at that head sculpt, it's another sculpt again that we've seen before, but it comes out looking really good. I'll have to take a look when we do comparisons. I feel like there's more black around the mouth than on the previous version, but it still fits, it looks good, and it's well painted and it matches. So looking at the rest of the figure as we go down, so this is just the Bucky Cap mold. It's again the same figure that we saw before, so nothing new. I will say he has a bit more, and I don't know how well it's showing up here, more of a metallic look to it. So the red seems to be a little bit shinier, but we still have the same tendrils there that are part of the body mold. And I didn't mention this with the accessories, but we do get this back piece. It is a removable back piece if you wanted to. It is, there we go. So it just ports in the back there. If you don't want to have that, you can just have a more plain looking. So this would be a very plain looking Carnage with the regular hands and everything. But then you can obviously just pop that right back in, and you get those tendrils coming out of his back, which I think look good. But for the most part, there's not much to say about the body mold except all those tendrils that are coming out in various places that look pretty cool. We already looked at the hands, so not much else to see there. So yeah, that's basically it. Go ahead now and take a look at the scale and articulation. And looking at the scale, we can see that Carnage is coming in at just shy of 6 1/4 inches tall, so that's not bad. I took the back piece off. It doesn't get in the way of the articulation, but I just wanted it off for the ease of handling. But of course, you have a head that can go all the way around. He can bury his chin pretty far, can look up pretty far. This goes for both of the heads. You have arms, and you might notice too, I talked about this with the Poison figure, or I will, depending on what order I post these in. You might have to kind of push down a bit on his arm just to get it in there and to not have it hit with that little edge there. But you should be okay, but just something to keep an eye on. He does have a bicep swivel, double jointed elbows, and then he does have hinge and rotation at the wrist. Just keep in mind what I commented on with this one is the hinge is up and down versus side to side like the rest of these hinges. You do have an ab crunch that can go down that far, go back that far, waist rotation, legs that can go apart that far, forward, backwards, upper thigh cut, double jointed knees, boot cut, and ankle hinge with ankle pivot. Here is Carnage standing next to his counterpart from a few years ago in the Ultimate Green Goblin wave. And I don't know how well it's showing up, but you may be able to see some of the differences in the red, but otherwise they are the same figure. You can see the pattern of black on the new one, which is this one right here. That's the new one. The pattern for the black pieces are the same. They're a little bit thicker on this one and a little bit better painted, but they are the same. The tendrils are the same, but this one I did get secondhand at a flea market, and the tendrils, I don't know if they have just, maybe they did come out of the packaging a little bit different shape, or just maybe from this one being a few years old, maybe they've taken on some new shapes, but they are essentially identical. I am definitely going to put Cletus's face on my old one, and then I'll have an unmasked Carnage and Venom, and then I'll have my masked Carnage and Venom. Is definitely how I'm going to do that setup. And here's everybody in the wave standing next to each other. So from the left, we have Poison, Typhoid Mary, Scream, the Monster Venom Build-A-Figure in the back, Spider-Ham in front of him, and then Venom and Carnage. And that wraps it up for this review, everyone. And overall, if you missed out on the Ultimate Green Goblin Carnage from a few years ago, this is a must-have villain for your Spider-Man collection. So absolutely pick him up if you missed out on him the first time. And if you didn't miss out and you have that original Carnage, I still think this one is worth picking up. And whether you sell off the old one or even just have them both on display, the Cletus Kasady head sculpt and then the addition of the two new hands, one of them being the axe and the other one with the elongated hands there, I think are absolutely worth it. So anyway, that is it. Leave a like button down below if you liked this review. Leave a comment down below if you have anything to say about this figure. I'm kind of curious. Make sure to check out the new series that I am starting, which is the mobile-friendly vertical video mini reviews. Check those out. Let me know what you think of those. And aside from that, make sure to hit subscribe for more content just like this. And thanks for watching my video, and have a great day. That's it.